Hey, welcome back to InboundREM. My name is Robert Newman. I am the founder of InboundREM, and today what we're going to do is we're going to update our Ylopo review. I did a review in June of 2020. I was lucky enough to get some of the leaders of Ylopo to participate in the review. The video that we did um, has garnered thousands upon thousands of views, and we also continue to rank on the first page of Google for Ylopo. So this is the review that I'm updating. All right, actually 6,200 views is how many views that we've had so far. All right, so we're also number 6 in the search engines for this. The video is still on the first page, and here we are on the written review. So hopefully you now know why I'm updating. All right. In the last 2 years, Ylopo has sent out a lot of messages. I'm subscribed to both their Ylopo Success Group and their email marketing list, and most likely, like what I'm doing these updates off of, the data I am using is hundreds and hundreds of updates inside Ylopo. My own customer calls where I'm on the phone with people who are using Ylopo as a service and leveraging my role as one of the better known real estate marketing consultants, real estate SEO experts in the United States that focuses on residential real estate. I have 3 to 4 conversations with top performers in the real estate industry every single day. So if you're wondering where that data comes from, it comes from there. And plus the fact that I have 50 to 100,000 realtors at this point subscribed to my various channels. And I get comments on YouTube and many other places in order to provide all of you with this data. All right. With no further ado, for those of you who like your information quick, down, and dirty, here it is, the pros and cons of 2022 with Ylopo. Now, for those of you who are detail-oriented and like a lot of data, stay after the pros and cons because I will be giving you a lot more background on where these pros and cons are coming from. The overall pros and cons of Ylopo in 2022. The number one con for Ylopo is that it has been oversold. When I first reviewed them in 2020, I would estimate they had 3 or 4 clients, 3 or 4,000 clients, maybe at that time. It's just a guess. I have no inside data that says that that is accurate. It's just a guess. I would guess based on the membership inside the Ylopo Success community that they've reached up to 7 to 10,000 active clients, maybe even more. And the result of this is I have had an extraordinarily large amount of personal one-to-one calls with agents from many of the top markets in the US that are telling me stories such as they enrolled and then they had calls from clients who had received the exact same series of text messages in the exact same market and other things too. But ultimately, like I have had many people that essentially have said they've been competing as 3, 4, 5, 6 other agents in the same marketplace using the same service. That is far too many for any marketing service to have. Even in a major metro market, you'd need to divide that market up. And so when it comes to Ylopo, I feel like they need a better job of targeting individual markets. They used to be able to do so by zip code when they owned Tiger Leads and ran Tiger Leads, and I feel like they haven't done as good of a job in Ylopo for sure. And so this has definitely been something that's just been a reoccurring theme of my consultations. Now, this next con is something that came up because of me, Robert Newman. I follow their marketing religiously because I think they do overall a very good job, certainly better than any of their competitors, no doubt about it. I think that G is the closest thing that we have to like a functioning market genius running the engine of a company. But just like every other company, they make some mistakes. And as they've gotten bigger and have to support a larger team, you start to have to deal with some of the dark side of building a big company. And here's the dark side, guys, girls, gals, everybody. Here's the really dark side. You have to sell big. At a certain point, you stop trying to find your ideal customer and just take all customers at all times. And I really do feel like that's where they've started to come from. They're selling big. They're selling really broad, generalized ideas and using language that suggests that these ideas, this broad marketing language that they're using is going to impact you. And it's just not true. Real estate is wildly specific. And while they will probably say, oh, you're supposed to call in and talk to our salespeople, and they are supposed to drill down and do the job that they're supposed to do, once again, I've gotten feedback from people that I've been on the phone to. I think if you're lucky enough to get one of their 1 or 2 top consultants on the phone, you might get that kind of detailed drill down. But I've had repeated calls coming in from people that suggest that as they've grown, their sales team has lost its fine edge. And there's definitely people giving out bad advice and selling their services to people that should not be buying them. So they sell big. Long-term value and mission is really not in line with what you as a realtor should be focused on. But that could be true of every single marketing company that's out there. And again, this falls into the overall cons in 2022. This was true back when I did the original view in 2020. I'm repeating it for those, in the back. G and Howard have both expressed to me, or actually not Howard, but G Jafung has expressed to me one-on-one directly, and I have no reason to think that has changed, that they had no intention of selling Ylopo. I strongly don't believe that is ultimately true. It's not like I'm not calling G a liar. I just think that he's giving me the company line, which you kind of have to do at times. They have already sold one of their 2 companies to the same company that bought Sync, Fidelity National Mortgage. Okay, and that's a conglomerate, a huge one. And they sold it for 25 million. And then 2 years later, it got bought for 125 million. Same company. All right, because somebody finally saw the value in the database that they had built, wanted access to it, and spent $125 million on it. There's no way that doesn't sting, that hasn't always stung. At that particular time, G wasn't a named partner. Howard had other partners that I feel, just based on my research and what I've read, were probably not delivering what he had hoped they would deliver. And again, can't be clear on this, my personal opinion. Not citing inside information, not claiming that anybody said this to me. I'm saying this is my opinion based on my own research. And but now G is a partner. He has never gotten a big taste of a sellout the way that everybody else has, and he has some of the most to gain that of anybody involved with Ylopo. He's not independently wealthy, which I don't know if Howard is or isn't, but there's certainly a larger percentage chance that he is based on being a primary partner in Tiger Leads, which they already sold. He may have reinvested capital or gone out and sought money and be responsible for some very big loans to run Ylopo. But ultimately speaking, he has already exited out of a fairly successful company, and this is his second. So number one, they have the skill, they have the drive. But having said all that, and there's going to be a pro that I'm going to list too, is that this is a bad time to do that, but I'll explain that later. Here's the thing though, and this is why I constantly talk about them selling and such. Ylopo has done one thing which I've talked to Aaron about, but it just disappoints me. They are consistently using tools that they sign you up for that are intended to lock you in and keep you there with no options on your part. They're doing the same thing every other marketing company has ever done to real estate agents and lowering your choices and your room to move around. They want you locked into their system. As the market gets harder, the dark side of them doing that is going to become clear for a lot of you. Many of you have been seeing 3 to 4 to 1 ROI, which makes them a successful marketing service. That is not going to be the case right now. Many of you are dropping down to 2 to 1 or 1 to 1, or you're losing money flat out. and you're wondering if that's going to change and you're trying to stay in, but every month that you stay in, you're eating to whatever your ROI was over these past months. And that's a lot of people who are going to be watching this video. So this long-term vision that they've got where they sign people up for Square and they lock you into a database and they build their own IDX tool that connects directly into Follow-Up Boss. These are all excellent tools. I've got nothing bad to say about them. It's an incredible team, but they have once again built an ecosystem that is meant for you not to move around. And I appreciate that and respect them. They've done a lot of things that make that worth considering, but it is ultimately not in your favor as a realtor to get locked in. If you're a big enough realtor to use a team like this for part of your marketing, that is another conversation. Leveraging some of their tools while maintaining your independence and control over your database, your marketing, and your results is a different subject. If they sell out and what you're thinking to yourself is the impact would be negligible, you're in the right position. If they sell out and you think to yourself, my business might be out of business, or I might experience 1 or 2 years where I make 1/4 as much, you are in a very bad position. And Ylopo is not the partner to be in that position with. So that is what I mean by their long-term goals being in line with your long-term goals. So on to the pros, and the list of pros is longer than the cons, okay? Still leading in, Ylopo still leads the pack in lead gen theory and PPC. They have done a lot of updates through email that talks about PPC and PPC 2.0 and just other things that they're discussing, and they're not talking about anything revolutionary. I do love the fact that they're a very good marketing team, and they paint all of their services as if they are unique to Ylopo. And in some cases they are way ahead of the bell curve. So to say that they've done a better job than most other competitors, I would agree with 100%. That goes back to G, which everybody should have remembered in the beginning of my review. I said that I feel like he is one of the closest things that we have to a functioning, like, he's a genius in the subject matter that he has opted to focus in. He is the heart and beating soul of your results at Ylopo, with Howard Tager taking care of management, leadership, and forward thinking, and Aaron Franklin doing an incredible job in the like day-to-day, like brass knuckles business of promoting the company. That's the triumphate of leadership over at Ylopo. And each of these guys is incredibly qualified to be doing what they're doing. I can't be more complimentary because I do not feel that way about most real estate leadership teams. Also, pure transparency, the team has reached out to me. I've spoken to Aaron Franklin a number of times. I feel it's likely I will speak to him again. He does an incredible job at leveraging influencers like me and trying to make sure the way that he does it is absolutely the way you should do it. He just tries to make sure that I have all the information about the service. Never once asked me to change or alter my opinion. So once again, just plays into my extremely high opinion of all of them as leaders. They're good leaders. Whether or not their mission is in line with your mission, that's another subject. They just are led by a good team. So the other bit, PPC theory, is just a comment on this. Ji Jifeng said PPC 2.0. All they really talked about is doing hyperlocal searches and starting to break down the specificity of the area that you're in. They're starting to have a conversation that really all real estate agents and brokers should have had years ago. Today's market is an information age market inside real estate. That means it's hyper-specific. If you're thinking that you're going to still be marketing the keywords like condos in Miami, boy howdy, have you probably wasted a lot of money on that theory. You really need to be going down to the names of the buildings, units for sale in, building name. These are all keywords that exist that the search volume has grown in because the market has become hyper-specific. All that PPC 2.0 with Ylopo means is that they're on top of that trend and that they're marketing to it. Now, here's the funny thing. Of all the major marketing companies out there, they're one of the few that have actually pivoted that I've seen in a provable way that they've really pivoted to it. And since G is the head of their team, while I have not been able to prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt, I do believe that he would be the kind of guy that would take their millions upon millions of dollars in marketing budget and make sure that he had everybody with an account focused strategy that would basically be hyper local, hyper focused. Really hard to do it in high quality at the size that they've become, though. Okay? Just so everybody knows. Ylopo is no longer a scrappy little independent marketing company. They are now one of the biggest players out there. And you have to scale to that. And I don't know, I'm seeing signs that while they're doing a better job than most, that there's cracks in the armor over at Ylopo. The real estate market should prevent a positive exit for the next 3 to 5 years. Now, Ylopo probably has one of two choices. They are sitting high. Their database might be as many as 11,000 active customers. They're probably at $10 to $20 million in revenue, somewhere in there. So are they going to consistently see the growth? No. They are probably, I'm seeing signs that most likely they're worried about hemorrhaging customers. Now, they thought, again, because they're a really great team, they forward thought, they've entered a brand new product, which is also on my pros list, which is called Direct Connect, which is essentially a long form, like, according to them, and I don't have the proof of this, even though I've watched, they seem to have case studied it with Barry Jenkins and another guy by the name of Gabe, and it seems like they've given it a good test. And now I think that they've declared in some of the marketing literature, which once again I have not been able to prove, that they have 400 active accounts testing this long form marketing messaging funnel, which will yield a much stronger lead. Pros and cons in that too, because Barry Jenkins, who is inarguably their top realtor in residence, he's an inbound marketer through and through. He gives so much data all the time. I follow him. He's written some books. I follow those. He's a great guy to get on board with because he's obsessed with learning and then he's obsessed with teaching. And that is what we are looking for in the information age. Obsessed with learning, obsessed with teaching. Whenever you have that, you have a marketable thing because not everybody wants to spend their time doing what Barry does. And what I can see him say is that 90% of his leads did not participate in Direct Connect. 10% did. So he lost or he gained a lot of leads that had to have high efforts, high follow-up, high outbound efforts to try to get in touch with him. And as the market declines, that's not going to work out. They're not going to respond. You're going to see, so this 10%, this Direct Connect, is obviously an effort from Ylopo to try to make sure that their clients are maintaining some form of ROI. Now, Barry, if he was case studying it and being legitimate with, because he announces his ROI. So in 2021, he had a 7-to-1. In 2022, he had a 4-to-1. These are still great numbers, but I need you all to hear this. Barry Jenkins is one of the best realtor marketers that I've come across, maybe top 20. Are you top 20? That's 4-to-1 from one of the top 20 guys who's written a book on the subject. All right. That's like me saying I got, 30-to-1, 40-to-1, 50-to-1. Yeah, I'm a 35-year veteran of the sales and marketing industry. I've run, my top budget for marketing was $70 million a year. I've run really big organizations and really small ones both. So I've got both the small mechanics and big mechanics down. Man, you don't want to say, is it possible to get some results that are in the neighborhood of a really skilled professional? Sure. But if Barry is getting 4-to-1, I'd say the average good client of Ylopo might be looking at 2-to-1, and the average client would be lucky to do 1-to-1 to 1.5-to-1. So there's definitely both some pros and cons in there. Ylopo still has the best run social media group of any major real estate marketing company, including ours, that's out there. It's called the Ylopo Success Group. It's incredible. They dump so much value and so much content in there. I don't even have words. Like, it doesn't even matter if you're a customer of Ylopo. You're going to learn all sorts of things about direct marketing, master classes on how to work leads, how to use CRMs. The list goes on and on and on. They way over deliver in the value category inside this group. I feel strongly that a lot of that's due to Aaron Franklin. This guy, like I said, he is the real deal. He is somebody who understands the way that marketing should be done in today's world, and he's doing it for Ylopo. That means they're providing a lot of value, a lot of inbound marketing, a lot of information value, which I strongly believe is the way to market myself. But they do that inside their Ylopo success group. So they have that there. They also have, as listed as another pro on my list, realtors and residents, which I've already mentioned. Nobody else has really done that, where they've got a couple of case study clients that they've built into basically partners of the business using a fancy title. And these guys are always there tracking their numbers, giving you the latest in results, telling you how they did it, giving you graphs and charts. I still reference a chart that Barry Jenkins put up, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years ago inside the Ylopo Success Group, where he's kind of just showing you all the pieces of the puzzle about how he gets his results, which, by the way, he has a 12-layer process, which is why I say for sure that the average realtor is not going to be able to achieve that, because it would be a complex lead generation system, even by my standards. Easy access masterclasses, which I've already covered, and hands down the highest caliber information age real estate marketing company, except maybe for InboundREM. Information age is just, guys, do they give you all the data that you need to use the service? Do they really double and triple and quadruple down on their marketing philosophies? And the answer is all of that to yes. And they make it easy for you to understand. If anything, when you go into Ylopo, you feel like there's an overwhelming amount of information. Personally, I'd much prefer that than not. There are other good information age marketers out there. There's Playster, there's Easy Agent Pro, there's a few other people doing a good job. Right now, currently active, currently providing value, the best that I've seen, because both Easy Agent Pro and Playster have taken a pause, beat years long for both of them in really providing a lot of value. Ylopo has not. They're on it. I've got 20 emails from Aaron through November and December, which leads me to the last closing thought, is that in September, Aaron sent out 4 emails. November and December, almost 20. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you read between the lines, and with how many clients I've had just personally call me and tell me they're either canceling or have already canceled Ylopo services, there's going to be an attrition, and you're going to see them trying to pivot, all real estate marketing companies, because an ugly fact is that we as marketing companies have to build our teams to manage the amount of clients that we have. We have staff to support. Nobody wants there to be a report going out that says that they laid off 20% of their staff, not only because of the business optics of it, but because you don't want to lay off 20% of your people. Now, I know these guys, and they're good humans. I would say that unequivocally about Aaron, G, and I don't know Howard well enough to really be able to volunteer. I've met the dude a couple of times. He struck me. I think that if both Aaron and G feel comfortable following him, he's probably a good guy, because they're both spending their lives, involved in the mechanics of this business. So there must be a leader there that's dynamic and involved. But I can't say that I've met him to be able to, well, not recently or spent any time with him recently to say for sure how I feel about that. Ultimately, of the lead generation services that you have available to you out there, Ylopo remains a strong choice. But I want to emphasize this for everybody watching this review. Direct marketing offers, that is paid advertising offers, people who go out and put ads at the top of Google like this one, like Ylopo and whoever these other, like all these guys with ads. This is not the time to be leaning on paid marketing. That's my strong opinion, okay? You're going to have to really be like an expert in these systems to be pulling down 2 to 1, 3 to 1. 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 on return on investment right now are going to start to be high numbers. Trust me. That's what you're going to discover. 2 to 1, 3 to 1 are going to start to be high numbers. Now, I also think that if Ylopo played this smart, they didn't tell people to do reviews because they're experienced and it's a double-edged sword. Market goes up, market goes down. All right. I feel like if they were going to do a star rating review right now, we have a rating mechanism on our own website, which I'm just going to run through for you because I don't have one of these up for Ylopo. If I had to give them a star system right now, I'm going to give them a 3. And I want to be clear, it's one of the strongest reviews I'm going to give for a paid advertising-based company. When the market changes, and it will continue to change on the downward cycle, people spend more time in research. There's something that G said that I wanted to cover. G and Howard and Selling Big, these guys have over and over said that they have some clever way to get out in front of like the information stream and capture people before they're captured by the platforms. Ylopo sells against the platforms, like the platform, and platforms are Zillow and Trulia. They try to say we're going to get you a better priced lead than, let's say, Zillow or Trulia is going to deliver to you. Well, the truth is that and I know G knows this, which is where I fault them for selling big. They're selling big when anybody that follows statistics or is on the marketing side of this business knows for a fact that the research process that most consumers go through has elongated. It's now 6 to 9 months long. I think this is according to NAR, certainly according to my own research, talking to my own friends and family. Talk to yours, do your own research, see if you agree or not. But it's 6 to 9 months long. It includes 80 to 150 searches, including lifestyle searches, area searches, amenity searches. All these things take place in your average real estate search. Even my dad searches that way. He's 73 and a millionaire. So, or at least on paper, he has a house worth that. I shouldn't have said that quite that way. But I mean, he has that external value that we all equate with the older generation because he's had a home for 30 years. And if he was to sell it today, he'd walk away with whatever, $1.5 million in cash, whatever the numbers. I honestly don't know what it is. So, but those people in that generation are doing 60, 70, 80, 90 searches. So when you say, oh, I'm going to get you upstream, that's like saying, I capture your search like way upstream. You never do any other research, and now we have you as a lead. It's not true. You can get somebody inside your ecosystem, you can work them better, and that's what Ylopo does. They grab you, and then they message you ad nauseum. It is a push marketing strategy where we just keep reaching out to you, taking your temperature 30, 40, 50, 60 different times as you're doing your searches on a platform. There's pros and cons to that, but there's going to be a lot more negatives as the market changes because people already in a hot market, they deal with it. In a slow market, they're not going to deal with it. It's annoying. It's irritating. You don't want somebody in your face 30, 40, 50 times. You certainly don't want to be text messaged 30 times. And by the way, don't take my word for this. Talk to all the people that you know and see what they say. You're going to discover that I am probably right. And why do I say this? Because I come from a big call center background. And as the years rolled on, the FCC kept getting in the middle of our business, kept not allowing us to call people's phone numbers. And then it was certain hours, and then some states got on and do not call this in their entirety. Then the states got really egregious. If most people don't know this, but if you get a call from a telemarketer and can do the research and find the core company, you've automatically got a case that you'll win. You can literally take them to small claims court and win because it's illegal for them to call you. And there's a guy out there called Zen something or another, and he did it like 20 different times and made like $300,000 just basically suing telemarketing companies. So the good ones that were legitimate stopped doing it. We're on the same track for text messaging. It's being abused by most people and most systems. There's too many text messages coming in. It's being abused by the Democratic National Convention. I get way too many texts from those people. And they're going to be the ones deciding the law, which is what's funny. But eventually the pressure will get become enough where they have to take it off the list, and it's going to become an opt-in only service, and people are going to be a lot more leery about opting in. So 3 stars is what I would give these guys on, well, actually, this is reviews. I would give, if I had to do a 3 to 5 stars overall, like value, I'd say 3. Now, here's where that breaks out. Pricing, they're on the high side. Ylopo is, if you buy all the necessary add-ons in order to make their service work, their pricing is going to be in the top 8. Like, they're going to be up here. They're going to be the very top tier. There's only 1 or 2 more companies that are more expensive than Ylopo. Lead generation would be similar to this. Also, of the companies available to you, they are absolutely positively one of the best at lead generation, if not the best. It just depends on what kind of lead generation you're talking about. When it comes to push marketing, I'd say they're the best. In terms of lead generation as a whole, I'm an inbound marketer. Like, I think that inbound is the way to go. So it's very difficult for me. Like, I just believe that to the core of my being. So this is not an inbound company. They do some content, they do some inbound marketing for themselves, they do information marketing, but ultimately at the end of the day, they're a very clever push marketing company. And ultimately for that, which is generating a lot of lower quality leads. And they probably went to the direct marketing, direct connect, and maybe even for some of the comments that I've made, it doesn't even matter if that's true or not, because ultimately they themselves saw the shortened window for a push marketing only company. They realized that we're going to go extinct if this is the only kind of lead that we are going to sell. So they went with a longer form, higher quality lead generation effort. And for some of their clients, I think that's going to work very well, leading me to say, once again, they're the best in the category when it comes to push marketing. But ultimately, push marketing is not best for lead generation. Design, I would say they're 80%. They do a pretty good job on Square. Lots of people have used them and been fairly happy with the design they come up with. You don't own it. It's a cheap platform. It doesn't have a lot of options on the back end. You won't be able to design or make a lot of changes yourself, even if they tell you that you probably can. So design, we'll give them an 80%. Client satisfaction, if I had to guess right now, I'd say it has gone from an 85% or 90% down to maybe a 65 to 50%. Okay? Support. I don't have enough data to know, but if their support was truly terrible, some people would have jumped onto the Google My Business profile and left them bad reviews. So my guess is support's a 75% or higher, because there would be some kind of proof online to show where their support was at. So overall, I feel like that's going to land us at a 3 or a 3.5 in terms of what we're saying. Their actual online reviews, of which, like I said, they haven't sought them out. There's not that many. They have like 8 reviews, but I'm guessing 11,000 customers. They are not asking nor encouraging people to do reviews for them. Okay? That carries some pros and cons. Even WhoQuest, 1 review, 7.2. If we were out there looking around, Agent Advice, 16 reviews, 4.8. That's pretty good. Ylopo reviews, what it's like to work at Ylopo, 171 votes, 4.9, which kind of emphasizes my point on how good I feel their leadership is. That's about as good as it's going to get, man. Like, I have a 4.9. I am a very involved leader. Like, this is, but that doesn't necessarily, leadership and what they are doing are 2 separate things. All right, that's what I've got. Thank you so much. This has been my updated Ylopo review for 2022 and 2023. These notes, all the updates that Ylopo has done, it is unlikely that they can have any more major product updates in the year of 2023. They put all of that energy into making sure they can announce at the end of 2022. They're probably going to refine all of those systems moving throughout the year. So this is going to be as good as it gets for a while in terms of me reviewing Ylopo. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what I've had to say, or you have other questions about what I want to say, either 1, schedule an appointment with me, or number 2, leave me a thumbs up or leave me a comment on YouTube. Depending on the depth of your question, if it's a minor question, I will answer on my YouTube channel or my website. If it's a major question, you'll have to schedule a call with me or my team.